For centuries, sailors swore that bodies too large to belong to any known animal were moving beneath their ships. They spoke of backs that looked like islands, tentacles curling around the hull, and shadows that followed vessels for hours without rising to the surface. Most returned without evidence and became objects of ridicule, yet some creatures described in those accounts eventually appeared in fishing nets or washed ashore. The ocean could hide something for generations while the people who had seen it died branded as liars. That possibility never disappeared entirely. As science advanced, the old stories began to lose their power. Ships could measure depth, submarines descended farther, and sonar revealed objects hidden below the surface. Sea monsters seemed confined to ancient maps and tales told during storms. The ocean was still dangerous, but its threats appeared to have familiar names. Until 1997, when something was heard in one of the most remote regions of the South Pacific. The signal traveled across thousands of miles of water and reached instruments designed to record underwater activity. Nobody knew what had produced it. A network of NOAA hydrophones captured the sound through sensors positioned more than 2,000 miles apart. The strength of the signal suggested an extraordinary source. It received an almost childish name, the Bloop. Its original frequency was too low for human hearing, so the recording was sped up 16 times. When played back, it became a short, deep, rising noise that many listeners compared to a distorted animal call. It appeared to come from cold waters near Antarctica, far from the busiest shipping routes. Researchers could estimate a general region, though the area remained far too large to search for one specific source. The first theories focused on the sound's seemingly biological qualities. Whales and other marine mammals produce calls that can travel great distances, but the bloop appeared to operate on a different scale. If it belonged to a living creature, that animal might have been far larger than a blue whale. The idea spread quickly. Drawings appeared of colossal cephalopods, surviving reptiles, and animals adapted to trenches untouched by sunlight. None of those images had evidence behind them, yet they began with one fact that could not be ignored. The signal was real. Scientific instruments had recorded it, and no explanation had closed the case. The ocean gave that possibility room to survive. The giant squid had once been dismissed as a sailor's exaggeration before real specimens were recovered, and deep-sea expeditions continued to find species with bodies that looked designed for a nightmare. Less than a third of the seafloor has been mapped with modern technology, while only a tiny portion of the deep ocean has been directly observed. The bloop may have had an ordinary source, but during those years it could also be imagined as the first signal from an animal that had spent far too long beyond our reach. But the most convincing answer came later, when researchers near Antarctica recorded very similar sounds produced by enormous masses of ice. An iceberg cracking, breaking away from a glacier, or scraping the seafloor can create signals capable of traveling thousands of miles underwater. The acoustic similarities led NOAA to conclude that the bloop had probably been caused by an event of that kind. Its location, strength, and shape all fit the explanation. No later evidence has required an unknown creature, and Antarctic ice became the most likely source. That conclusion pushed the creature theories into the background. The colossal animals imagined in documentaries and forums had grown from a real mystery. Yet the Antarctic recordings gave the bloop a far more convincing origin. Once the signal could be matched to breaking ice, the search for a biological source largely came to an end. Despite everything pointing toward a massive ice fracture, the bloop left a mark that was difficult to erase. For years, it fed theories about animals larger than any known species, and for a brief moment, the possibility of an enormous monster beneath the Pacific seemed real enough to consider. The scientific explanation proved far simpler, though the fear came from something genuine. A powerful signal had emerged from an almost inaccessible region, and nobody immediately understood it. The bloop eventually received an answer, but the ocean that allowed people to imagine such a creature remains a place we still do not fully know. If you enjoyed this video, I'd really appreciate your support with a like and a subscription. I upload videos frequently, covering mysterious and disturbing cases like this, and there are many more coming. So, stay tuned.